Hey everybody, it's Angela, and I am back to do the pocket page that corresponds to my layout about our wheat harvest. And I did that in my previous video, so if you haven't seen that one, it's the video right before this one, and I'll try to remember to link it below. But I like to, when I have a lot of photos of an occasion, to do an extra pocket page to put next to my 12 by 12 scrapbook layout, because I don't do a 12 by 12 layout of every photo that I have. Usually I just, choose like the best one or two and make a layout of it. Or in this case, if I have a lot of favorites or it was just a little bit bigger event, I'll just slip an extra page in. And so I have these photographs now. I printed them out a long time ago, so they've been in my stash for a while. And I have a really large photo of my husband and I standing on top of the combine after we're done with the wheat harvest. And so I really like that one. It was printed big, so I had these pocket pages that will accommodate a large photo across the top, and then 3 4x6 cards along the bottom. And I have just gone through my stash for things that have some green in them and some other colors that will kind of correspond to the 12 by 12 layout I already did. And you can see, like on that card, I just cut this little triangular banner off, and I'm taking the rounded corners off, and I'm going to use that. It has a little heart on there. Then I also had this card, which I believe was a Scraptastic card, and it has the quote, "The good life is a process, not a state of being. It is a direction, not a destination." So I really like that, because my husband and I have been, on this process and this direction for a while, and we're just finally starting to get good at wheat farming. And we had to learn everything ourselves, because it's not like it was a family farm where my husband learned it from his father, how to run all this equipment. We had to buy all this equipment and figure out how to run it, and figure out how to farm all on our own from scratch. So it has been quite a journey. And in order to help it correspond to the layout, the 12 by 12 before it, I'm also using some of that same wheat that I used on my 12 by 12 on one of these cards. And I'm putting it here at the bottom with one of those Dear Lizzie bows. And I hadn't used one of those burlap bows before, so I was really glad to be able to put one on a layout, get one in the album. And then I have that picture. It's kind of a close-up of the wheat in the field that we're harvesting. And then I have this one, which is kind of a couple close-ups of the combine, the front of the combine. And I believe one of them is, a close-up out of some drone footage. And also on the far right bottom card is a view of the grain tank with all the grain there in the back of the combine, and that was also taken with the drone. And now I'm going through a bunch of puffy stickers and just looking for things to put on there. You saw me cut out things from other Project Life cards and use those as decorations. Now I'm using some puffy stickers. And I like to cut up my Project Life cards because usually you get quite a few of the same card. So I try to use it in as many different ways as possible. And again, I like that little sticker that says "Love This," and I put that between the two. And then the pinked circle that I cut out of that one Project Life card says "Little Moments in My Life." And so I'm turning the thing over, and here's the rest of my photos. And I had saved one of those arrow cards with the round circles on it, that one there, so that it would kind of, again, pull my 12 by 12 layout through this pocket page. And now I'm just deciding which 4 by 6 cards to use. So I'm liking that. And the photo on the top is my husband. He's standing on the back of the combine. You can see all the grain there in front of him and the empty field behind him. And we were just really glad that we got the harvest done, and it was we had started putting it in bags. You can see there are the tote bags, and I believe there's like a ton a bag. So 2,000 pounds per bag. And we were just really happy to have done this. I believe it was the first time we had ever planted that field. And so we had worked the soil and gotten that field ready and planted it. So it was exciting for us to actually get our first harvest off that field. And I had a duplicate of the picture that I used on the 12 by 12. You can see it there on the bottom, that one there that I just picked up. And I thought, you know what, it's already printed out. I'm going to go ahead and put it, because this is the back of the pocket page, so they won't be right next to each other, and I figured I'd just go ahead and use it. So I'm going to stick that on this card below this picture of the combine. So yeah, I wound up printing out probably more photos than I needed to, but like I said, I was going to do these pocket pages, so it worked out good. Again, I'm just taking that camera I cut out of one of the Project Life cards. That My Life in Snapshots is also cut out of a Project Life card. So I'm just trying to use up some of those Project Life cards. And then I used another one of the Jelly Bean Soup Polaroid frames like I used on my 12 by 12 layout. And these arrows too I used on my 12 by 12 layout. So there's a lot of things that I'm repeating throughout this, and also these little scraps of green that are kind of that John Deere green. I'm kind of sprinkling those through here just to kind of make everything cohesive. So now I'm sticking down this frame, and I backed that little sun cutout of the frame with a little bit of yellow. I'm going to go ahead and put that little snapshots thing on the bottom of the frame. And some of the things I'm putting up on foam tape, like that camera and that quote. Other things I'm gluing just directly down to the Project Life card because I don't want it to get too bulky. And then I'll go through like I did on the other side of this and put some puffy stickers. So I just pull a couple of those gold hearts like I used on the other side. And then this sun I used inside my Polaroid frame on the 12 by 12 layout. So I'm cutting out another one of them to kind of put here below the cutout sun on the Polaroid frame, just to make a little bit of a cluster right there and to bring some of the colors down into that area. So I'm just going to have everything overlap and touch a little bit, just to make them feel like they're all one cluster. So I'm liking that. These two, there wasn't a lot of room with those arrow circles, so I'm not going to mat those two photos. I'm just going to stick them directly down. The other ones I kind of matted with different colors. So I like that puffy sticker that says The Good Life that I put on that first 4x6 card, because it kind of echoes that quote from the other side of this page. And then I also have this banner that says Fave Photo. So I'm going to do a little bit of a cluster up in that upper left corner too. Going through these little tiny Project Life type cards. And I'm going to just cut out this little banner piece to add to this cluster up here. And it was great to be able to use this many of my Project Life cards, because I have one of those Rascog carts that's just full of 4x6 and 2x3 and all the different cards. You know, it's just like I've got so many of them and so many duplicates, and somehow they all got mixed together because I had separated out my Project Life collection packs, and I'd put some of them when I had a second scrap room, and then when we moved, I kind of combined them all back together, and I got kind of lazy when I was moving because I was so tired that I kind of threw everything together. So now they're all mixed up. Yeah, I just have to kind of go digging through the cards and find one that I like, because they're not grouped exactly by collection anymore. So I'm just going along these cards, putting a little bit of journaling on each of them. And going ahead and getting this arrow card put down. I'm going to slip all these cards back in. Now those ones with these big photos on the top have a tendency to want to fall out because they're so short and they're way up there on the top like that. So what I like to do is take either washi tape and put it over the top, or in this case I'm using my tiny attacher and I'm just putting a couple staples here and there, and then that'll keep those big pieces on the top from falling out. So now I'm going to do some close-ups. But I do love these with the big photos because every once in a while, you know, you just have, yeah, big stuff that you want to take pictures of and you want to be able to see everything. And there's that quote and the little puffy hearts there. And as I go down, you can see the little wheat cluster and the Dear Lizzie bow. Again, some touches of that John Deere green in there. That little quote and puffy sticker. And then on the other side, I've got the other large photo with the little embellishment cluster, my arrow card, another one of the Jelly Bean frames. And yeah, so I really love how this turned out, and that it coordinates with the 12 by 12 layout that I did, and it just kind of puts that whole wheat harvest and the photos of it all together in my scrapbook album. So, you know, I really like being able to take occasions where I have a lot of photos and kind of group them all together. So after I was done with this, I had a bunch of little small scraps, pieces of Project Life cards and pieces of green paper and paper from my 12 by 12 layout, and I was cleaning up my desk, and this is a lot of times what I do. There's the original, the 12 by 12 layout that corresponds to this. So after I'm done with the project, I clean up, and then I take all my little scraps and I try to find things that I can turn into usable shapes. So as I was doing that, I thought, well, maybe I should just film that and show it at the end. This is what I do. I saved these little offcuts from my wheat, and then those wheat sprigs that I didn't wind up using. All my scraps I cut into usable shapes, all the little tiny pieces, like that's a Project Life card, and that I turned them into little tags. I make little tabs, and I have those little oval frames, and I have some little flower punches, and it just makes a usable product out of some of the smallest scraps. You would be amazed at how many extra things you can get. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to store those together in this little iris case and pull it out when I'm doing my farm layouts, because again, we have a lot of John Deere equipment, so we have a lot of green, and I just want touches of it. I'm not going to make my whole album green. So I'm going to put those aside and be able to pull from those in the future. And now my desk is clean for the next project. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions or anything, just leave me a comment down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.